What up, good people? Back with today's book plug. Today's book is going to come from one of my Kindle books. I actually don't have the hard copy, but I have it on Kindle, and it's called The New Jim Crow, and it's by Michelle Alexander. What she talks about in this book is the era post-slavery, post-Jim Crow, post-Reconstruction. All those periods that they were still trying to keep us in a certain structure to not be equal, to white America. So they had all these different classifications and these different rules and regulations that kept Black Americans in a certain place to where we were able to climb the ladder, but we were only able to go so far. And so in The New Jim Crow, she talks about how prison has become that next phase, right? Mass incarceration. Especially, we look in the 90s up into the early 2000s where, people from our neighborhoods, speaking of, Black neighborhoods, were getting locked up, and they were gone for long periods of time. And sometimes it was for petty stuff. Sometimes it was for crimes that they needed to go do the time for committing the crime. But if you look at some of the crimes that we committed versus some of the crimes that our counterparts, which are white Americans, committed, same crime, but you had different sentences. You know what I'm saying? And that's what she talks about. And I think that should be more in the limelight, versus they try to always make it look like blacks are more criminalistic and whites are just white collar crimes, and it's not. You know what I mean? It's the same. Everybody that commits crime should be doing the time, but it should be equal time. You know what I mean? The color of your skin shouldn't matter about the length of your sentence. But they used incarceration in prison to put a lot of black, especially Black men in the 90s and the early 2000s, away for a long time for, drug crimes. And it was because they didn't have adequate legal representation. Unlike some of the white criminals that did some stuff. So she talks about how, and it's not just about keeping us in a structured place. It's also big business, man. It's a lot of big companies that are invested heavily, in the prison system. McDonald's is one. Wendy's is one. It's a lot of, if you got a 401k with your job, it's a lot of big hedge funds invested in the prison system. So, check out this book, and maybe you'll think about